Hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It's 6 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I want to talk a little bit about Joe Biden's speech last night and how it rang true for me. Um, it got a good review, a lot of good reviews. I was reading even Fox, some of the Fox personalities gave it compliments. I'm just going to tell you guys what rang true for me. He pointed out a few times about the good in people as opposed to the worst, and about the darkness and more into the light. And this is something I believe 100%. And you could tell, like I've talked to you guys before about my life as a drug addict and everything. And I like to think I'm pretty good at spotting deception or manipulation or anything like that. I'm pretty good at it, and he seemed very genuine. Um, I'll be honest. I'm going to tell you at the end of this. I'm going to tell you a part that I can't tell you why, but there's a part of his speech that I just did. It didn't click with me. I'm going to tell you that after I tell you what I liked. All right. For the longest time, I never understood Trump supporters, and I really did feel that they are the dark, angry type. I've talked about this before, how sometimes everybody gets this feeling. It's a human nature kind of thing where you just want to say, screw it. And it's easier to go with hate, just to say, I'm saying screw it instead of the more popular term. You get frustrated with everything. There's that little voice that just wants to say, you just want to blame somebody else, and just say the meanest, the evil stuff that's kind of in the back of your head. Now, I believe everybody's got that. It's kind of similar to, say, if I told you guys to not think of the word orange. Whatever you do right now, don't think of the word orange. Right? You're thinking of the word orange. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes with this. I think this is in everybody's human nature. It's that little dark voice. Maybe it's evil, maybe it's Satan. But I think everybody has just the dark nature in the back of their head. And most of us, with me, it's through recovery that I lived the dark, the worst, the evilest life before. And I can recognize that voice in the back of my head, and I know how to shut it down now. But I think everybody has this. I think a lot of Trump supporters got frustrated. Maybe there's a little racism involved, frustration, whatever. And I think it seems to me that they gave in to that little voice that just said, you know what, screw it. And it was that angry frustration coming out, where, yeah, it's the Mexicans' fault. Yes, it's people of color. I want, and it's just the bad side of human nature, that little dark place I think that we all have in the back of our heads. And I saw that, to me, that's what it was, being released with Trump supporters, and with Trump being the cheerleader, encouraging it. It was always about blame, and then the nicknames, the constant nicknames and stuff, kind of gives into that dark nature where you just want to laugh and say, yeah, screw it all, it's your fault, I want what I want it now, screw you, it's all for me. I've had enough being Mr. Nice Guy. That kind of attitude, I don't know what you call it. I don't know what the psychologists have a name for it or whatever, but I think we all have this. That's what I've seen in Trump supporters, and it worries me. Look at his rallies. Almost every picture I see. I mean, I see a lot, and it's usually about the man Trump, it comes across to me as a cult too. But then you see a lot of anger. You see so many of the middle fingers, and it seems a lot of the rallies are more about their anger towards, like, Obama or Hillary, or it's more about anger towards somebody as opposed to hope and will and compassion. We can do this, teamwork kind of thing. And I get the impression that Trump supporters, for whatever reason, financial reasons or whatever frustration. I don't know. Maybe they were victims of crime. I don't know, but it just seems like they gave up on that, and they're just like, like going to the dark side. Almost go, the Darth Vader side. And that's the feeling I get. Even now with the Law and Order signs, it gives me a feeling of they're saying either you're with us or you're wrong and we're going to lock you up. That's really how I feel with this Law and Order kind of thing, that dictatorship, that it's got an authoritarian feel to it. That if you're not with our little team, you're an enemy. That's the vibe that I get from Trump. It's not a feeling of unity. It's not a feeling of bringing the country together. It's the opposite. It's our little club with our king, and we're against everybody else. The media, Hollywood, the Dems, the liberal, and it's just their little cult. And when Biden talked about dark, I truly, and I'm not calling Trump supporters evil by any means, but this is what I'm saying, that I really, through my 54 years of experience, I know that we all have that dark, or that side. It's more of an emotional side, that as opposed to logic and compassion. The teamwork, the striving for long-term goals, working together. The things that are a little harder, like not giving in to just half-baked conspiracy, these half thought out conspiracy theories. Thinking is hard. Researching is hard. Looking up truths and untruths and what is really the truth is hard. Learning science is hard. Understanding chemistry and weather and all that. It's a lot. It takes more time and patience than just going with an emotional, well, that's all a lie. It's all a lie and I don't want to believe it, and this is what I'm going to do. Screw it all. Screw the weather. Screw global warming. Screw the tree huggers. Screw pollution. I'm going to live for today. Money. And it's this base, emotional, almost animalistic kind of thing that I see. This is how I truly feel. What I see with Trump, and that he seemed to encourage and light on fire with the Trump supporters. And I truly see that. To me, that is the dark side of human nature. And that's what scares me. These Trump supporters seem to be able to dismiss anything. The biggest thing, I'll talk about it again, mocking the disabled reporter. That was, like I've told you guys 100 times, that was a line in the sand moment for me that I will never respect or like, or Donald Trump. Any man that could do that, encourage an entire arena to laugh at a disabled man. What kind of people do that? Seriously, no matter what this man did, he's a reporter. And it's this anger, this darkness in people, or blaming a whole race of people, the Mexicans, the kids being taken away from their families because supposedly their parents committed a crime. Their parents didn't cross legally, and the kids got to pay for it. There's, in our hearts, man, that's wrong. If that was your kids paying for your crimes and mistakes, would you feel the same way? I doubt it. And when Biden talked about this, man, that rang a bell with me. It's hard. It's a harder path doing the right thing. It's a harder path dealing with compassion and thinking things through, like the climate change and all that. It's a lot easier just to say screw it, it's a hoax. It's a hoax by these people or that people. And that's all Trump's doing. He doesn't want to do the work. It's just reverting back to this emotional, screw it all. It's too much. I don't want to think about it. You know, I want to make money. I want all this. I deserve it. I'm white. It's my country. And it's just, I just feel like it's a base animal instinct just to say, to push away the logical, compassion thought and just go with a base animal instinct. Screw everything. I want it all. And one of the biggest ironies is that you have the evangelicals and the Christians, supporting this man and holding him up. And it's pretty much what I just described is the antithesis, the opposite of being a good Christian. I won't even get into that whole thing, but it struck a chord with me because that's what I see. This anger. Their candidate won. Their candidate won. And it's for the last 4 years, it's been this march, these rallies. Who holds election-style rallies for a year after they won the election? And then you see this anger, the middle fingers all at the media, and he points at the media, and then all the supporters turn. It's like something out of a horror movie. They all turn and flip off the people, the bad people, the people that are against us. Man, that's a scary future for America. And when I saw Biden talk about the light and the dark and the best and worst in people, bam, man, that's exactly, and I know people see that. I know other people see that. And I know Biden sees it. I believe it. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about something, and I don't have a logical reason for this. Okay. He talked about having a hole in his heart, and he talked about losing people. And I know he's lost his son. And I know he was talking about the 170,000 people that have died in America. Now, when I was 9 years old, I lost my father to brain cancer. And within the following year or two, I lost 2 grandfathers and a grandmother and 2 of my best friends. I went through a very dark period where I became suicidal. I just believed in living for today. Screw it, because I might not be alive tomorrow. It was a very dark period for me, and I know what it's like to lose people. So that should click with me, because he talked about that. He talked about having a dark hole in his heart and being sucked into it. And there's something about that I don't want to say it didn't ring true for me. I don't know if it's because I felt that he was pandering maybe a little bit to the death and loss of the pandemic. And I don't even like saying that. But with a gut feeling, that's the only part. Overall, I have a great impression of him, and I truly believe in him. But there was just, if I'm going to be honest, something about that little part of the speech just didn't click with me. And I can't even put a finger on it. You seem to be trying to empathize with people that have lost other people to the coronavirus and other things. And I don't know why, but something about it didn't sit right with me. It was a gut feeling, and I'll talk more about it in another video when I figure it out. But I'm being 100% straightforward with you guys, even though I can't explain it. Now, I don't like bringing up other channels, but Bo talked a little bit about, they seem to be on but the Biden-Harris ticket seemed to have brought up a little bit about an assault weapon ban. And I got to say, I disagree with. That's another thing I disagree with. I grew up with, I'm a hardcore leftist liberal, but I believe in the Second Amendment. I grew up with guns. I was shooting guns since I was 5 years old. I was taught how to handle guns and what to do and what not to do and how to respect people and all that. And I grew up hunting. I believe the term assault weapons bothers me, as it does a lot of people. Because I handle guns. I know guns, and it's just a term for a gun. Yes, a lot of mass shooters have used a particular kind of gun. My true thought here is if assault weapons, a specific size and shape and color of gun is outlawed, then the people that commit these atrocities will just find another weapon of destruction. I've shot a pump, a Mossberg Slugger pump, and God knows, loaded with double-aught buck, God knows that thing could do some horrendous damage. Street sweepers, shotguns, there's some other horrendous weapons out there, and if people are intent on doing damage, I think mental illness, dealing with mental illness, mental health, flagging these things, and dealing with domestic violence issues, I think that's a good way to go. Not be more careful of who you put guns in their hands. Background checks, I can agree with background checks. Just some thoughts, because I got the feeling that the Biden-Harris ticket was kind of approaching that line of thought on banning assault weapons. Not something it's not something I think that will solve a problem. Just put it that way, and it'll disenfranchise a lot of potential voters, I believe. My thoughts on the Biden speech from last night, DNC. Let me know what you guys think. All right, you guys have a good Friday.